Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is,
you guys a solution to this technique, since the line foot in the door technique, often used by recruiters and salesmen. For example, the perpetrator walks up to the victim and pins a flower or gives a small gift to the victim. The victim says thanks, and now they have incurred a psychological debt to the perpetrator. The person eventually asks for a larger favor. Framing. It happens when, in order to persuade a political audience of one side of an argument or another, the facts are presented through a rhetorical frame that shifts the individual's perception. Gish Gallop. Bombarding a political opponent with obnoxiously complex questions in rapid fire during a debate to make the opponent appear to not know what they are talking about. Glittering generality. Glittering generalities are emotionally appealing words that are applied to a product or idea, but present no concrete argument or analysis. It has the intent of associating the product or idea with an already established feel-good value in the mind of the audience. They ask for approval without examination of the reason. Guilt by association. This technique is used to persuade a target audience to disapprove of an action or idea by suggesting that the idea is popular among disliked groups. Half-truth. A half-truth is a deceptive statement that includes some element of truth. It comes in several forms. The statement might be partly true, the statement may be totally true, but only part of the whole truth, or it may utilize some deceptive element, such as improper punctuation. Information overload. When an entity floods a certain topic with an enormous amount of information in order to increase the difficulty of understanding an issue and effectively making decisions, it can have the same effect as secrecy. For the first time, I'll actually give you guys a solution to this technique, since the line between news and propaganda is maybe the blurriest it's ever been. This solution is available thanks to our sponsor, Ground News, which is an app and website that lets
people get reelected.
well, I don't believe that's my approval rate. That's not what our polls show.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about. Look, George, think of it this way. You've heard me say this before. I think the United States and the world is at an inflection point where the things that happen in the next several years are going to determine what the next 6, 7 decades look like. And who's going to be able to hold NATO together like me? Who's going to be able to be in a position where I'm able to keep the Pacific Basin in a position where we're at least checkmating China now? Who's going to do that? Who has that reach? Who knows all these? We're going to have, I guess, a good way to judge me is you're going to have now the NATO conference here in the United States next week. Come listen. See what they say.
Hey, what's your name?
Kira.
Where are you from, Kira?
Los Angeles.
How long have you been living in Los Angeles?
4 years.
How much do you spend each month living in Los Angeles, including everything?
Maybe like $4,000 a month.
And what's your job? What do you do?
I'm a software engineer.
How much do you earn as a software engineer?
Senate. The boyish-looking father of 3 young children was celebrating his 30th birthday. That makes him just old enough to be a United States Senator, 30 being the minimum age prescribed by the Constitution. Biden, a liberal Democrat, pulled one of the big upsets of the election by unseating a 63-year-old Republican, Caleb Boggs. In Washington today, he was having trouble convincing some people he really is a senator and having some doubts about the Senate seniority system while hoping older members won't hold his age against him.
I expect these fellows are going to eventually judge me on my merit, not on my age, and I have to establish that merit, assuming there is any there. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. Beyond having other senators' staffs think I'm applying for a job or as a page or something.
Would you like to see some changes in the seniority system?
Well, I would like to see some changes in the seniority system, but and it's not going to make any difference my saying this, but it's not because I'm 30 and coming in. I think that the seniority system has many more drawbacks and it has merits. Where I'm not going to lead any move to change that in my formative years in the Senate, but were there to be such a vote to come up, I clearly would vote to eliminate the seniority system.
The indications are that you may be 100th in seniority, the last man on the totem pole in the Senate. Does that bother you?
Well, no, it doesn't. As a matter of fact, I think it's sort of amusing that I probably have the least seniority of anyone ever to enter this august body.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president. I'm proud of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
Here's how to legally steal gasoline from gas stations. This programmer got fired from his job at a German.
Take a look at what happened.
New information on what's being investigated as an assassination attempt on former President Trump. The Secret Service says a shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside the rally venue in Butler County, Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. The Secret Service says their team neutralized the shooter, who is now dead. Officials holding a briefing hours after the shooting.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. And at this time, we are not prepared to identify who the shooter is.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the shooter fired as many as 8 rounds using an AR-style rifle from a rooftop 200 to 300 yards away. Tonight, Trump releasing a statement that reads in part, "I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin."
First you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down." We got down, and we huddled, and we started praying.
The shooting happening minutes into Trump's rally. Trump on stage reaching for his right ear, then apparently ducking behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the former president. Moments later, Trump taken to his feet with blood on his right ear. Trump waving a fist in the air as he's led off the stage surrounded by Secret Service agents. This is happening ahead of a major week for Trump, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Free thinking, innovative, and totally
trying to move
domination politics.
I can't have you in my life when I'm trying to move on.
There's something dangerous happening.
Miss the heart.
Meant to.
I know because I've been able to work with Republicans my whole career. But there's no question that today's Republican Party is driven and intimidated by MAGA Republican extremists.
Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Is a must. Happiness is is a plus, edginess is a rush. Better than I could brush. The man with the Midas touch, intoxicate me on a rush. Stop it, making me blush. People are looking at us.
Move it there. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move.
I'm checking the soul pad, soul pad. On my radar, on my radar.
Ready?
If I notice you choose, you're not gonna lose you.
We are watching a rally right now. Former President Trump was just in the middle of a speech when what sounded like possible shots were fired. We saw the former president, take cover. Security is now surrounding him and getting him out of the event.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on your head. So we gotta move to the front.
Obviously a huge security concern there. People were screaming. Still unclear exactly what happened, but a very big security concern there for former President Trump. Secret Service agents now surrounding him. And they are taking him off the stage.
When you talk, I got that tingle. I wanna mingle, that's what I want. That's what I want. Hey, listen, baby, turn up the fan. I'm trying to make you understand. You're on my radar. You're on my radar. On my radar. Got you on my radar. Got you on my radar. You're on my radar.
The nation is in shock tonight after gunfire erupts at a large rally, leaving former President Donald Trump injured and a spectator dead.
The Secret Service killed that gunman in what the FBI now is calling an assassination attempt. The clearly audible shooting broke out just minutes after the former president began speaking in front of thousands of his supporters. And then in an instant, the jubilation turned to terror when Trump was hit.
KTLA's Chris Wolf joins us in studio with more on the attack that has left the nation shaken. Chris.
Absolutely, Karine and Rick. What a very difficult day this has been. First off, take a look at this. We are getting some new video in of the former President Trump getting off a plane in New Jersey this evening, hours after the mayhem in Pennsylvania. Investigators are still working to positively identify the shooter and his motives. Fox News is reporting he was 20 years old from the local Butler County, Pennsylvania area. The rally venue is still an active crime scene.
And just listen to ABC narrating this shit. Listen to this.
Still unclear exactly what happened.
So nobody said anything for the longest time. This is like, finally, after the pauses, ABC News.
When what sounded like possible shots were fired, we saw the former president, take cover. Security is now surrounding him and getting him out of the event.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on your head.
Let me get my shoes.
So we gotta move to the front.
That's my favorite part, bro. That's my favorite part. Let me get my shoes. That is my favorite fucking part. So listen to this guy. So they waited for like the whole entire time afterwards. They didn't like say anything. Oh my God, the president was shot. After there's 4 shots, after the Secret Service comes out, then they're like, it appears the president, like they weren't even paying attention. Then they don't even say it was an assassination attempt. They said it was, what did they say it was? Rewind back.
Possible
shots were fired.
Former president, take cover. Security is now surrounding him and getting him out of the event.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on your head. So we gotta move to the front.
Obviously a huge security concern there. People...
Obviously a huge security concern. So, who did he hit, the gunman? Did he hit anybody?
I mean, didn't he not hit Trump's ear?
Oh, okay, so I didn't know that. Okay, good. I didn't know that. Thank you. He didn't hit Trump's ear? Did they hit anybody else?
I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really researched this a whole lot. I've just kind of like gone on to
you're good.
Before everybody's like, having their opinions and stuff. Because, you know, like tomorrow, everybody's going to have their talking points, right?
People already do.
So I get on. I plan on getting on here before, and then like just talking to people like we're normal people before we're not normal anymore.
I mean, I hold no. I don't know. Like, I feel like these conversations should always be able to be had.
Yeah, but we don't ever have them, man. And like, there's a reason. It's because the two parties don't want us to have these conversations.
I think it's because
they're
individuals are also
insane.
just stubborn.
Well, okay. So did the Democrats want to have a conversation about the Democratic nominee and that he was out of his mind?
Reelected.
Well, I don't believe that's my approval rate. That's not what our polls show.
And if you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about. Look, George, think of it this way. You've heard me say this before. I think the United States and the world is at an inflection point where the things that happen in the next several years are going to determine what the next 6, 7 decades look like. And who's going to be able to hold NATO together like me? Who's going to be able to be in a position where I'm able to keep the Pacific Basin in a position where we're at least checkmating China now? Who's going to do that? Who has that reach? Who knows all these? We're going to have, I guess, a good way to judge me is you're going to have now the NATO conference here in the United States next week. Come listen.
News and propaganda is maybe the blurriest it's ever been.
By the way, I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president. I'm proud of the first black woman in the Supreme Court. There's just so much that we can do because together there's nothing. Look, this is the United States of America.
Thank you for watching and listening to Tommy Nation Politics live stream. Please like, share, subscribe. Do what you can to help the algorithm. Because we're a new progressive independent media.
New information on what's being investigated as an assassination attempt on former President Trump. The Secret Service says a shooter fired multiple shots toward the stage from an elevated position outside the rally venue in Butler County, Pennsylvania, north of Pittsburgh. The Secret Service says their team neutralized the shooter, who is now dead. Officials holding a briefing hours after the shooting.
This evening we had what we're calling an assassination attempt against our former president, Donald Trump. And at this time, we are not prepared to identify who the shooter is.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the shooter fired as many as 8 rounds using an AR-style rifle from a rooftop 200 to 300 yards away. Tonight, Trump releasing a statement that reads in part, "I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin."
First you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down." We got down, and we huddled and we started praying.
The shooting happening minutes into Trump's rally. Trump on stage reaching for his right ear, then apparently ducking behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the former president. Moments later, Trump taken to his feet with blood on his right ear. Trump waving a fist in the air as he's led off the stage surrounded by Secret Service agents. This is happening ahead of a major week for Trump, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
Free thinking, innovative, and totally open-minded. Tommy Nation Politics.
No, I mean, I'm not talking about specifically in politics, like within politicians. I'm talking about in general.
Okay.
Like all people are just tend to be stubborn in the sense that, like, realistically, we would all want it our own way, you know? And just some people don't know how to manage how far that goes before it's unrealistic. You know what I mean? And like, so I feel like that's kind of why we don't have those conversations. I mean, don't get me wrong. Is there probably some influence, like, from the parties themselves to discourage conversation? Sure. But like, I don't know if that's the sole reason. I think we've probably always had problems communicating.
So you really don't think that all of that propaganda, all of that threat to democracy, MAGA, what do they call them? MAGA insurrectionists, I mean, they call them deplorables and stuff like that. They demonize, and then the other side, the groomers, they're all of this stuff, and so like
I mean, look what you're doing.
it
You're
seems to be
demonizing
hurtful.
them.
No, I'm just observing
I
it,
mean,
and
you
I'm
just
just like
called them
I'm
the
pointing
other
out to
side
you.
the groomers. You just categorized the Democratic Party as a whole as groomers. Is that not you doing the exact same thing?
I was just giving an example of this other side because I didn't. Okay, so I'm kind of a leftist, so I don't know what like we call you. I know what we call you, but I don't know what you call us. Communists, I think. Groomers. That's what I was trying to figure out. I wasn't calling
Okay,
anybody a groomer.
I was confused if that was you trying to like negatively refer to the Democrats.
No, I'm just saying that these are like little labels that are fucking
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, but
spinning around, and
that goes both
people stick
ways
them
for
with it,
sure.
and that keeps us from talking to each other, doesn't it? Like
Mm,
that's a big reason, right?
I mean, I think that it definitely facilitates it, but I feel like what carries weight to those like when Trump goes on a stage and holds in a like states an opinion of how things should be, and if you think otherwise, you're wrong or you're this, like it's on the people to make that actually like stand any sort of like test of like, oh, this is actually what I believe in and I'm gonna fight for that. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that when Trump goes on there, it has nothing, like he has no liability per se if anything comes of that. It's just that at the end of the day, like it still comes down to the people that are listening if they're going to do something about what they're hearing. So I mean, I don't know. Like I feel like when people go on and label each other different things, it doesn't necessarily mean anything until the people as a group that watch it together decide it means something.
I really like what you're saying right now. I really do. Are you gonna be like
You
this
said
tomorrow?
you said what?
I said I really like what you're saying right now. I really do.
I'll just do it like this. Yeah, I really like what you're saying right now. I really do. I agree with you.
I
Are you going to
appreciate
believe the same thing tomorrow about that before they have the talking points and have the labels out, and then we're
I
all
mean,
doing that stuff?
I'm not too concerned. I feel like the only thing that'll shift my opinion is if we get new like information on the subject, not opinions on it.
I'll tell you something I'm biased about right now is the fact that I don't believe that any of these assassination attempts or anything that these two parties do is real. Why? Because they lie all the time. They lie about everything, and they
Sure.
do things like this just for politics. I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm seriously, and that's why when you said that, like, the bullet actually hit Trump. Like, that was I should research this before I go overboard because I honestly, like, I have a huge trust issue with these two parties, bro. It just seems like
That's
so convenient after Joe Biden's like, talking about dropping out and stuff like that. It's just
Look,
too convenient, bro.
I'm not gonna act like it's impossible that the party orchestrated something like this. Like I'm not gonna act like it's out the question. But for me, I just go off like what I have, you know what I mean? And from what we know,
Yeah,
it's just like this
that's
guy
rational.
shot from a rooftop. We know his name, and
What's his name? What's his name?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but
Oh.
it is out there.
Are these all like the fucking the dossier files from the CIA or whatever, the Secret Service, who like got to Trump after four shots? After four shots, then they get to him. This is the greatest Secret Service in the country. I swear to God. I swear to God, they were like,
Well,
"What? Donut. I had a donut. It
if
was
I'm
even a
not
donut. Sorry."
mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. I think what happened was is that the first shot hit Trump, or maybe the second shot hit Trump, and then the shots after that were the Secret Service shooting the shooter.
Okay.
That's what I think. Because with
Hmm.
the amount of people they have around the area, they're gonna be able to figure out where it came from fast.
You're probably right about that. I'm gonna have to get
That's
my
just
hands on
my
the
guess.
report to know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I
That's probably no.
wrong.
That's a good observation. Okay, so for we do know though for sure that Trump definitely loves his shoes.
I mean, Trump loves a lot of objects.
They were probably those sneakers that he like. Somebody's trying to
Oh,
talk.
he should not love those. Those shoes are ass.
He was talking about how there were big problems and shit, and everybody's
I
laughing at
love
us.
you. I love you. I love you. What's up? What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Brandon? How's it going, man? We're talking
Nothing
about
much.
this
What's going on?
Trump assassination attempts. I thought I'd get up here before like all of the
Trump
narratives go.
assassination attempt? When did that happen?
Are you in this? Are you American? Are you an American?
Yes.
All right, good. Just making sure. Because if you were Canadian, I would just drop you right now. But this
Okay.
happened today at Pennsylvania rally.
Okay.
Pennsylvania rally, and
For
of
real?
course, yeah, it's super crazy. Super crazy, man.
Let me
What do you think
check out
about
the
it?
link.
I guess you didn't know about it.
Let me check it out. Wait. Hold on. Wait, somebody shot a fire or anything like that? What happened?
Somebody tried to shoot the big dumb orange guy.
Someone tried to shoot the big boss?
Yeah, bro. Now he gets whatever. Now he gets what he really wants. Donald Trump, his entire life, he's wanted to be part of the mafia, and now he just got shot at, bro. He's like, they're literally making all his dreams come true. The Democrats, bro.
Wait. Is he actually shot at?
Yeah. So go online, go to YouTube, go
Guess I'm
to
going to.
anything, and just press and
Yeah.
just type in Trump.
Bro, just going anywhere and
Right.
typing Trump.
Yeah, probably. Okay, so like already, police reveal new details about Trump attempted assassination. 4 hours. 4 hours. Now they've got all the details, right? All these details, by the way, like I said, like I told you, bro. I
Wait,
told
and
you.
there's the is
Uh,
the person that shot the fire likely
Diego.
to face the death penalty?
He's dead already, bro. They shot him. They
They
killed
shot
him.
him down?
Of course they did, bro. They don't want us to like actually know what happened or like get evidence or just enter anything to the
Right.
record. The FBI and
Right.
the state law enforcement officials. This is from Newsweek. Have one
Mm-hmm.
person tentatively identified as the shooter who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump at a rally outside Pittsburgh on Saturday. There were some
Mm-hmm.
complications. Oh, there were some complications that slowed down some processing and the
Mm-hmm.
identification of the shooter, according to Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens. Already bullshit I smell. These guys are just like the FBI should be dissolved. Ugh. The FBI
I
confirmed they
mean,
did not have any threat
look,
information prior to the
I'm
event.
gonna be honest though. There's a lot of instances where
Where they
like
what?
a
They
lot of
actually fucking
criminal investigation gets halted because of like whether it be lack of evidence or like needing to just like re-examine current evidence. Like it's not like unique to just like big situations. It's just like those are the ones we hear about, so we like suspect something of it. And again, maybe there is something to suspect, but
didn't they raid his house and shit like that and all that shady stuff?
I mean, they raided his house because he refused to comply with them for months.
Yeah, so that just goes to show you that liberty means nothing with these guys. They
What do
don't
you
even need a
mean
fucking
liberty
subpoena.
means nothing, bro? Like if you
They didn't
take
even have a
government
subpoena. They
property,
didn't have a subpoena. Did they
dude,
have a
you took
subpoena?
they took government property, and yes, they got a warrant actually.
A
And
FISA
yeah,
warrant.
they did subpoena
That's not a
stuff. I
subpoena.
don't know what they
You need a
subpoenaed, but they
grand jury
did
for a
get
subpoena.
judge issued warrant. What?
I'm just saying that, like, I read. Okay, so I read the order, the
Hey,
affidavit,
and hey. So
and they
basically
didn't
I
have
watched it.
any subpoenas. They had a FISA warrant.
They had a warrant to go in and do what they did, which is
Yeah, from a
retrieve.
FISA court.
Okay, look, the entire situation in Mar-a-Lago was Trump had documents that he claimed to have declassified that he took when he left office, and for months they contacted him asking him to return it. And this is a process that they did with Obama and a process that they did with later with Biden. And in both of those situations, it was the same thing. They got asked to give documents over. The only difference is they didn't ignore them, and I guess Trump just showed what happens if you do, which is they're just going to go
I
get them.
have a
I
I
mean,
have a
is that
question.
surprise you? You take federal property, you don't think federal agents are going to show up and grab it back? Like, you think that's crazy?
Do
I
you
have a
think that
question.
there should be federal documents or classified
I
documents in the first
I
place?
have a question.
'Cause I don't.
Uh,
Hold on, we can
there was
circle back
three.
after
There was
Brandon.
there was three shots fired. Did any touch Donald Trump?
Right. That's what we were talking about.
And Diego says that he made a good observation or suggestion that like maybe that was them shooting back some of these a few of these shots. I'm trying to figure that out now. That's why got online. I'm trying to figure
So
that out.
the shooter risked his whole fucking life.
That's what I said. That's what
So
I
what I
said.
think about the declassified thing though, of like why we have them is like in like, don't get me wrong, I would love to be able to say like, hey, I'm not gonna hand over anything over to any foreign government because I wouldn't. But at the end
We
of the
could if we
day,
wanted to.
there are people that if they wanted to, they would now be able to, whether it be for money or for some other sort of gain. But more importantly, dude, think about how much our data gets leaked from companies outside of the US already, like without us knowing, like on our phones, on our different accounts and stuff like that. Like we would lose that shit and get it compromised so fast. Like if I had a PDF of a declassified of a classified document on my computer, I don't know how long that would last because I don't have government level protections on my computer.
Okay,
Do you
so
know what I'm
like,
saying? Like, I mean, I get what I don't get
what's
me
your
wrong. I'd love
look?
for all of us to be able to have those documents, but you see why we
I
can't, right?
I'm
It's the
just
same
saying that
reason why
like
we all
they
have
shouldn't
locks on
have
our
them
doors.
either. There's no reason why they should have. So like again, the
Who's
Constitution says. Like you
Mhm.
were just talking about the thing that I loved that you were saying about the people and what the people decide because they have the power, right? They promote the general welfare. We have the power. We the people of the United States. In order to form a more perfect union, right? We're supposed to have life, liberty, and happiness. These liberties are subject to due process, habeas corpus. It's all there. The separation of powers, the sovereignty of our country. It's all there. So what would a country of the people, by the people, and for the people need with classified documents? So let's say that somebody sold those plans, right? There's an article in the Constitution about treason and the penalty for treason. We have a right. We have the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. We have the right as Americans, a free republic, to do whatever we like. We can give those fucking plans to China if we wanted to. We would
Okay,
have
but
to pay the
here comes
price.
the problem. Here comes the problem.
We would have to pay the price of treason. But we're
Yeah,
free to
but
do that. We're free to
that's
do
if
that.
you could get caught, dude. Do you know how easy it would be for me to look, imagine if anybody could have access to these documents. I could go into a public library or I could go into an office or somewhere and print something off not using my computer. And then I can go like by myself. Like I can go on a plane, no one will ever know I had those documents. I can go over to another country, hand them over to whoever I need to, come back, and then they'll never know it was me. And then the only way that's left for them to try and filter out who did it is by doing the thing that we're all trying to avoid, which is them breaching through all our stuff to try and find proof of who did it. Do you you know what I mean? Like it circles back to the same problem. If now everybody has the liberty to have these things and then they can give them away, all right, let's charge them. How do we find out who did it? If they did it secret enough, now we have to breach everybody's security again. Now we have to go through everybody's stuff again. It's the same problem.
I'm just sure there's something on the internet that can, like a blockchain or something, that could give every single document a different kind of signature to where it's traceable, especially if it's part of
Maybe.
American historic documents. I mean, the
Maybe.
Library of
So
Congress could.
what if I put a specific type of printer paper, or what if I developed a program like you like I don't know, like there are people that print fake money right now. You know what I mean? That make the specific watermarks that aren't supposed to be repeatable, and that make the specific whatever holographic symbols that aren't supposed to be repeatable on different money. Like people redo that shit all the time, you know? So it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm saying we shouldn't try something like that if we were to go that route. It's just, I mean, we can't act like it's not gonna like it's not gonna have its downfalls. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you're saying it as if it's like this will solve stuff, but I don't know if it will
Oh no,
necessarily
I'm
solve
just
it. I
saying
feel
that
like the problem will persist in a different way.
I I'm saying that there should not be classified documents. Period. And the fact that there is a violation of our constitutional law.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not versed enough in constitutional law to tell you whether or not that's right or wrong, so I'm not
That's
gonna.
cool.
But I can just say that as far as declassified documents go, I feel like depending on what field they're declassified in, like if we're doing this in like military, like defense weapons, like I think I understand why I'm not privy to that. But you know, if we're talking about like developmental medicine or stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
I think I could definitely want to be involved in if they have any sort of medical advancements that could help us.
So who are you going to leave that to? How, like whether or not you think that you can handle that? Who are you going to leave that decision up to? These
What
people?
decision?
The decision of whether or not you can handle this. Are you going to leave
It's
that
not
decision
about
up
me
to?
handling it. When I say privy, I mean it's not like it's just like I can understand why they wouldn't want everybody to know about what weapons
I
they're
can
developing.
understand that too. I can understand that too.
Yeah.
Especially after WikiLeaks and everybody found out they double tapped hospitals in Afghanistan to do war crimes. They slaughtered innocent children and women in Iraq. I can understand why they wouldn't want us to fucking know these things. 20 years later, Afghanistan, no clear objective.
But like honestly,
Iraq,
every weapon we used,
Muammar
against
Gaddafi
them.
decapitated and fucking impaled under his ass. I
But what I'm
understand why
but
they
like
don't want us to know these things.
but in that instance, that's declassifying operations, not weapons. I don't think that operations should be all classified either per se. So don't get me wrong, like that, but that's separate though. Like I'm talking about if they're developing a weapon that they're going to use in an operation, I don't need to know about the specific
You don't need
weapon.
to know about that weapon? What if it's on
No,
you?
but I do need to know if in an operation they're going to use it in this or that way, because that will tell me all I need to know. Like
You
in
think they're going
terms
to
of,
tell you that? You think they're going to tell you the truth about that? Who's going to tell you the truth about that?
we're talking in an extreme hypothetical here where the government's giving you the transparency to let you know different things in the military at all. So like
Okay.
there's an entire basically redacted part of the military budget we don't know about and we've just accepted it. Like I understand that things aren't set up in a good way. Like we can agree into like different parts. All I'm saying is that as far as the military goes and what I think is like understandable for us to not know, I feel like it's understandable we don't know the weapons we're developing. But again, with knowing the operations in this hypothetical, we would need to know, or we would get the knowledge needed about those weapons from the operations if we're being told about them. So like I know your question is like, do you really think they're going to tell us that? We're talking in an extreme hypothetical where they
My
are.
question was,
Yes.
who is going to who did you decide to tell you which ones are the privy and which ones are not? Just a simple question, and I was just wondering how far you go with this.
Well, I mean,
Just
again,
wondering.
it's just a hypothetical to my opinion. So, to
Yeah.
my opinion, I just feel like it makes sense that we would be informed about, like, hey, we're going to do this operation where we set up a attack on this country or a false flag attack here in our country. Like, I think we deserve to know that because then we're going to basically be told you might need to be ready that there might be a draft or we're going to go to fucking war. Like there's a
Holy
possibility
fucking
that an economy shits itself. Like it's important that we know for those reasons. But if they're developing a new nuclear fusion type of bomb that we've never known about, that right there specifically knowing that development and plan really doesn't matter to me. Knowing what they're going to do with it, that's what would matter to me. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
That's just my opinion though. I'm not saying this is like an objective standard that's like all reason. This is just my opinion.
How did we get here? Like talking about what were we talking about again?
Well,
Forgot.
you were talking about how you don't think there should be declassified documents.
Oh, okay, I
And I'm
got you.
just saying I can understand why some things are classified or
Dude,
classified documents.
Trump is a gangster, man.
He needs his shoes, bro. He's a gangster that needs his shoes.
He needs his shoes.
Right, I need my shoes too, like everybody else.
What kind of shoes were? I want to see, bro. He's gonna he was gonna risk his life for the shoes.
No,
Wait a
Well, I
because
don't
second.
understand it. Yeah,
Hawkeye
they
like
is
what
here.
kind of
probably
shoes
were
could they have been that he
They're like
couldn't buy?
Hawkeye is here.
they
Hawkeye is here. Did
probably
you hear
were
that?
thousands of dollars.
These little fucking Secret Service agents have little
No, the
Avengers
reason why
names. They have
the
Avengers
reason
names.
the
It's
reason why he
okay,
wanted
Black Eye, Black Hawkeye.
the reason why he wanted his
Guys
shoe, it
play
was
pretend and
because
shit.
he needed to walk around with it, so a shoe was required.
Look, man, if you're
Hawkeye,
getting
Hawkeye
shot
to the
at,
six
if you're
on the
getting
six.
shot
Hawkeye.
at, I really do think your adrenaline is going to be enough for you to run barefoot.
Well, if I'm getting shot at, I'm running barefoot.
You said what?
But he's the president, so he gotta die with the suit on as well.
Not the
Remember?
president right now, but he will be probably. If this doesn't really honestly seal the deal, like this honestly seals it, because like Jesus Christ,
I
how
don't know
much
if it
more
seals it,
doesn't
but
it?
I mean,
How
I
okay?
do
So
think
how
it
does it
might win.
not? How does it
How
not? Because
does
the
it?
Democrats aren't going to win. They're gonna literally just get
Hold
destroyed in
on, hold on,
every
hold on,
single
hold on.
swing state, bro.
Okay. How does it seal it?
Okay, so you know how the nominee was talking about his last defense was Donald Trump's been indicted 34 times. Why doesn't he get out of the race? I might be demented, but right. And so now that Trump's like an American hero because he got assassination attempted, everybody's making postcards. They're making waffles. They're making like fucking like post-its. They're making like avatars from PlayStation on this
Yeah,
guy
but
and the
I
Donald
mean, dude,
picture.
respectfully, people have been
Donald
doing
Trump.
that about Trump for a long time.
Okay, but like we're talking about independence though, because like the base is
What
always the base.
What does this mean for independence?
Well, there's a change, bro. He lost the last time with independence. He lost Arizona. He lost Michigan. Remember, he lost Wisconsin, and he lost Florida, and that's why he lost that's why he lost the electoral race, bro. So the swing states this time in Michigan, he's winning. In Arizona, he's winning. In Georgia, he's winning. Trump is, and to seal the deal, bro. He just pretty much just like evaporated all memory of the current incumbent, Joseph Robinette Biden. Joseph Robinette Biden is now in the basement for permanently. He's like a lame duck already, bro. I can tell. You don't
I
think so?
mean, look, I'm not saying this in support of Biden. I'm just saying this in like I don't understand how him getting shot at secures his position in anything.
Because our because our current president is a dementia riddled, Alzheimer's diseased man who
I
doesn't know
get
where he
that,
is.
but that was the case before he got shot at. So what does him getting shot at change after? Like, it's the same scenario.
Oh, because
What?
the leadership. It's the leadership aspect. It's the
So
leadership
he's
aspect.
shown leadership in getting shot at. I think that's shown that
He,
we have a president that its own people are willing to shoot at. That does not show security
I
to me
think
at
you're
all.
right. I think you're right. You know what? I changed my mind. But I think this could be like a narrative that Fox News goes with. What do you think? You'll go with this one? I'll go with what I just said?
I think that they're gonna try and spin it like you said that he's like a
I think
hero
you're
of
right,
some
though.
sort.
Bro, you're a real one. You're a real one. You keep me anchored. I'm already hanging
I'm,
on to the. I'm already hanging on to the spin. I'm trying to figure out how they're going to spin it. But like you're speaking truth.
no, I mean they're
Probably right.
definitely gonna try and spin it like I mean it's the same thing they've always done. They've always labeled him as some sort of like leader figurehead, but I mean,
And they
you know.
everybody really wants to get Joe Biden out and like Kamala in, so like they could actually have a fighting chance. So that's why I was thinking that like
I'm gonna be
the
honest. I don't
alternatives
think
could happen.
Kamala would give a better chance.
Oh, she wouldn't, but she could actually campaign and like raise money. They don't really care about winning. They just need to raise the money, bro. They just need to fundraise. Because with the money, then they could just like take that money after the election and like fucking hookers, blow, laptops, do all that shit. Inside
I
trading,
guess that's an option.
whatever all the shit that these Congress people do. You know, Epstein Island, they save it on that. So they got to fundraise like hell because they got to pretend that this money like they made like legally when in reality it's not. It wasn't made legally. You know how they do. I mean, that's what they do. I'm not being conspiratorial. Like they put all this election money in their campaign, right? And after the campaign is done, then all that money that was done, all of a sudden shifts to, oh, the next campaign. Oh, my business account. Oh, I'm a fucking board member of Boeing, like Nikki Haley. I'm rich. I'm a board member. So like that's what it does, bro. Let's not lie. So like they keep the money after the campaign. And so that's how these guys get rich. That's how their scam works. So anyway, Biden isn't campaigning. You haven't noticed that, bro? He can't even like leave his house because every time he leaves his house, he talks about he was the first black president, first black woman, First black vice vote.
I mean, to be fair, he said that like 5 years ago, man.
Bro, every time he leaves his house, he says something else that the
Look, I mean,
Democratic
look, I'm
Party
not
is
gonna.
about.
It's just.
It's
I'm not
just
gonna
they're
act like
embarrassed.
he isn't
They're
very,
embarrassed,
very
bro. They
bad
need him
at
out. They've been
speaking.
begging him all week, bro. They've been begging him all week. Please, please get out. Please. They begged him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I
He
can
said
agree.
no.
I
He
don't
said
think he
no.
should run. I don't think he should run either. But in
But
all
he is
honesty,
there.
I don't think Trump should be running. I feel like most people in politics shouldn't be in politics. I think people are very, very lost in terms of like who we're letting get this far in the races. Because we're just treating
Wow.
it like a popularity contest, man. I mean, that's why the two people that everybody knows are the same ones at the end, because that's all it's about. Oh, I recognize this name. I've heard good things. I've heard bad. Okay, like that's like the majority of people at the fucking polling booths. They just add extra steps to make it like they like to make themselves think that they're actually like making an informed decisions. But you ask the majority of Trump or Biden supporters their favorite policies of theirs, and they can't name a single one because they don't actually know anything about politics. They know about the popular things that are said about politicians.
Investigators are still working to positively identify the shooter and his motives. Fox News is reporting he was 20 years old from the local Butler County, Pennsylvania area. The rally venue is still an active crime scene.